is Sunday, January 24th, 2021. I am the coach, and this is the Early Edge powered by SportsLine. We're in your feed every single day before 11 a.m., and we do it all in 10 minutes or less. But today is Championship Sunday, so we thought one show is just not enough. So coming up later in the feed, we'll have a hoops-only Early Edge as well. But right now, it's all about the NFL. Let's bring in the three very best NFL handicappers at SportsLine. The man right below me. He's been fired up all week. He's been blowing up my DMs. RJ White, good morning.
Go Bills. I see you got your Chiefs gear. I got to show up with my Bills gear because this is going to be a big day. Love this day. It's the best day of the year.
Let's go. And right next to me, last night he was a huge Dustin Poirier fan from Lafayette, Louisiana. Emory Hunt, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, as long as he's representing the boot, I'm all good to go.
All right. And then, of course, we bring in the maestro, Larry Hartstein, to bring in the final tally and also a little education this morning, too. Larry, good morning.
Coach, I always come back refreshed on a Sunday. Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, first game on the board. We know it's 3:05 Eastern time on Fox. It's the Bucs. It's the Packers. It's Brady. It's Rodgers. You can't get any better than this. Now, the Bucs are playing their third straight road game in the playoffs. This is of note since 1978. A team to play the third straight road game are 5-12 against the spread, 4-13 straight up in the conference championships game. In the last 7, 1-6 against the spread and straight up. So with that being said, RJ White, start us off.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and then they had 2 of their last 3 were on the road as well. So it's just a lot of travel for Tampa at this time of year. The good news is if you win this game, you get to go and play at home, in the Super Bowl because you don't have to go anywhere. But I like the Packers anyway, -3.5. But Tampa took advantage of turnovers last week, but that Green Bay offense is the best turnover rate in the NFL. The Green Bay offense also number 1 in points per drive, scored percentage on drives, and red zone success rate. And their defense is actually playing, well enough that people should be paying more attention to them. They've held 5 of their last 6 opponents to less than 18 points, and they're better at defending the pass than the run. I have Green Bay as 3 points better on a neutral field. If you're just going to make it 3.5 at Lambeau in playoff game with the snow, I love Green Bay here.
Yeah, I'm piggybacking on what RJ said. I'm laying those 3.5 points. You go back to that first meeting between Tampa and Green Bay, it was turnovers. You go back to last week with the New Orleans Saints, it was turnovers. So, again, if Green Bay protects football, they have more than enough offensive firepower on both ends of offense to really take care of business, and I think they will.
Coach, I'm going to buy this down to -3. I love Green Bay as well, but I got it at 3 early in the week at SportsLine. It moved up. I'm still going to buy it down to -120. Yeah, I mean, the Bucs are not going to be +4 in turnovers. Look at what the Green Bay O-line did last week. 1 hit on Aaron Rodgers, no sacks. They're playing a lot better than they were in week 6 when they got demolished in Tampa Bay. And also look at the Green Bay defense, 16 points per game over the last 4, getting totally overshadowed by that offense. I think it's Green Bay by a touchdown, but I just want to be safe and buy it to 3.
Yeah, and right now, William Hill, that is -120, Maestro. So I think that's a good call because in the NFL, the magical number of 3 and 7 is really what you want to stay around, especially when you're talking playoff games when everything is really squeezed in. All right, let's go to our favorite prop of this game. RJ, what do you like?
I'm going to go under 29.5 receiving yards on Rob Gronkowski. Gronk isn't a big part of the pass game when you throw out that weird Detroit game where he had 2 touchdowns, 2 longer catches, and they didn't have a coach on that sideline. So I'm not really, counting that for much. The last 5, aside from that game, he's had 1 reception for 14 yards on 5 targets, none for 1, on 1 target, 2 receptions for 4 targets for 29 yards, another 29 yards, and then 1 reception for 2 yards. So they're all wins. They're all doing what they need to do, and Gronk is staying in and blocking. So if he doesn't get a weird long play like he did against Detroit, I don't see this prop going over.
Yeah, I want to go -115. Chris Godwin going over 5.5 receptions with no Antonio Brown. I expect him to get the bulk of those catches, those targets. So I think that's where the ball is going to go. I do think the Packers will do a great job trying to minimize Mike Evans's impact. So Godwin will be the direct beneficiary of those targets.
I like that one. And I'm going to go MVS. Valdez-Scantling over 32.5 receiving yards. You look at last week, Alan Lazard had the big play, but both he and MVS had 8 targets. And if you look the week before, it was MVS with the long touchdown against the Bears. And then you look at last week, Michael Thomas gets shut down by Carlton Davis, the number 1 receiver. Devontae Adams is not going to get shut down, but it does point to the fact that Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith, the other guys, had big games against this Bucs secondary, the number 2 and number 3 guys. So go over 32.5 for MVS.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how both of these quarterbacks decide to spread the ball out today for their respective offenses. All right, real quick, if you're not a SportsLine member yet, what in the world are you waiting for? If you use the promo code EDGE right now, today, we're going to give you 30 days for free. You can experience all of our cappers and also all the simulations at the SportsLine app, which really have been killing it for us and doing a great job of really simulating every single game that you can get on the board. Our second game on the board today, of course, it's the Bills, and of course, it's Kansas City. Number 15 will be under center for the Chiefs. That's big news. He practiced all week. Kansas City right now, -3, according to our good friends at William Hill. The total at 54.5. This is a 6:40 Eastern kick on CBS. RJ White, give it to me.
I'm also like the Bills +3, but like Larry, I'm going to buy it up to -120. They're +100 at William Hill, so getting it to -120 because 3 is such a key number. The Bills are 9-1 ATS in their last 10. The only loss was when the Indy offense was lights out in that first playoff game. Kansas City's 1-8 ATS in the last 9. They've been winning, but not covering in the second half. The Bills, the advanced stats say they've been playing better. Number 1 in weighted DVOA for Pro Bowl outsiders, well ahead of Kansas City, whose defense has been mediocre at best in that run. And the two teams are even in net yards per pass attempt. Buffalo slightly better on D, and I don't expect a lot of running here. So I think Buffalo, the matchups kind of lean to their favor, and I like them.
I'm going to go to the other side here. I like the Chiefs in this. I'm laying those points with Kansas City. I think offensively speaking, the Bills want to aspire to what Kansas City is right now, but Kansas City currently can do what the Bills want to do. They can throw the football all over the yard. They can also run the ball, which Buffalo can't do. Defensively, yes, better athletes pound for pound on the Bills side, but a little bit more opportunistic defense, especially with a pass rush coming from the Kansas City Chiefs. So I like the Chiefs here on both sides of the ball. I think they'll win this game.
I'm going to side with RJ and break the tie and go +3.5 with the Bills. The Chiefs 32nd in red zone defense, and I just think we didn't see the Bills passing attack last week. It's so explosive, but it was so windy. They could barely snap the ball in the shotgun. This is going to be much better conditions. I think it's going to be a tremendous shootout, and I love getting a field goal.
It kills me to say it, but our rules here on the show is if there is a dissenting opinions or opposite opinions, we go with the consensus, and that is the Bills. Buy it up to 3.5. But Emory, I feel you, baby. I feel you. All right, our favorite prop of this particular game, RJ White, what are you looking at?
I like John Brown going over 53.5 receiving yards. He's a big part of the plan last week. He had 11 targets. He's had 60+ yards in 4 of the last 5 games that he's played. He missed a big chunk of the season, obviously. And I don't think that Diggs is getting to 100 yards, which is his prop, because that'll be the focus of them. Other players will need to pick up some of the slack. So with Gabe Davis questionable, and Beasley beat up, he's been dealing with a lower body injury for the last few weeks, and Diggs drawing focus. I think Brown has a high ceiling in this game. I also like going over 4.5 receptions on him, but a 53.5 receiving yards over, that's the play.
Yeah, I look at the number of Josh Allen's rush attempts at 6.5. I think that's very low. The playbook is open. It's the last game of the season for both teams. So you have to look at all things will be on the table. So I'm taking Josh Allen to go over 6.5 rush attempts at +100. That seems very low in my opinion.
I'm going to look at Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. It's not revolutionary. He scored in 5 straight. He has 12 touchdowns this season. He had 2 in the first matchup. Even though Matt Milano is back and he wasn't there in the first meeting, and he's a good cover linebacker, Kelce will get his share, and I like him to get a touchdown.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Travis Kelce has figured out a way to get open against absolutely anybody. And in a championship game, you know that Patrick Mahomes is going to be looking for him early and often. All right, we got 1 minute left in the show. So grab your paper. Grab your pencils. Here we go. We give you a ton of picks today. Are you kidding me? RJ White, our main man, he likes the Packers -3.5. He says he doesn't even need to buy it down to 3. He likes Gronk under 29.5 receiving yards. Thinks he's going to be blocking quite a bit today. Likes the Bills. Buy it up to +3.5, -120 at William Hill. And then in his prop, John Brown over 53.5 receiving yards. For Emory, he likes the Packers also -3.5. Chris Godwin over 5.5 receptions. He's really been a favorite target for Tom Brady as of late. He likes the Chiefs -3, and Josh Allen over 6.5 rushing attempts. He says that's way too low. It's coming back at +100. And then the Maestro, he likes the Packers, buy it down to 3 at William Hill. It's -120, excuse me. Then Valdez-Scantling over 32.5 receiving yards. The Bills plus the 3.5, and then Travis Kelce. To show you how good this prop is, it's -125. That's how much Vegas thinks this prop is going to come in. But so do we. All right, you've got your marching orders. And don't forget, we also have a basketball-only version of the Early Edge coming up in your feed in just a little while as well. So make sure you put on those notifications. Let's take all these tickets in a brand new week straight to the pay window. For RJ White, For Emory Hunt, for the maestro, for the jeweler, I'm the coach. New week, new attitude. The only place for your daily early edge.